Okay, welcome to EVE Online. I'm Major Freak. This is going to be about as close as I get to going insane because it deals with math. Now, the experts way back in 2004 came up with this, well, axiom for capacitor. EVE University claims that capacitor is the same curve math-wise as shield recharge, and I've proven them wrong on that one. And it's a plateau. It's between 20 and 33%. 20 and 33%. Anything below that, you're gonna start to rapidly lose recharge. Anything above that, you start to rapidly lose recharge. Right. There's a plateau. It's I don't like math. I think the people who think up these cute little math things are because they don't get a view in on, they don't have omniscience. And CZB's not telling us, not confirming or denying it. I think it's a cute math problem, but if they're right, if they're using the same, and it stands to reason they would, why would they bother complicating things for themselves? So it's the same for capacitor. So all I need to do is figure out a way of reading this number when it's got it set up. So one sec. Holy crap, frog in my throat. All right. What I'm looking at is having, I put in these two modules to get it just so I'm at 0. I've got to have 31.4 gigajoules per second to overcome having all lasers fire, having the Tech 2 microwarp fire, and not having these fire, just having this off. So I just want these on and the Tech 2 on, which is, I'll just show you right now, which is 31.4. So I want to find a way of saying, okay, I need X size booster to have that at 0. Because you don't want to have any more when you're using cap boosters, because then you're going beyond what you're not. What you want to do is take advantage of the peak capacitor. You don't want to be adding cap that in the end run is going to lower your peak capacitor, because then you're just going to have less recharge rate, and you're basically going to be wasting that extra cap. Why would you need a cap booster to put you at 100? Seriously, it's just silly. So what we're looking for is the math, so we can reverse engineer this number, because this number as it stands is completely useless. Okay, it's big. Okay, it's low. Okay, it's close enough, but it's negative. We're going to go drained. How? This is all we see is time till. Okay, that's great. We just manage your cap that way. But what if we want to do this sustained? We want to have a sustained, and we want to be able to know what cap amount I need to keep that stable. Now, what if we're in a heavy combat and we need to use the neutralizers, the NOS, the whole gamut, everything? What size capacitor is the capacitor we're using now going to be inefficient for keeping its cap stable? And if so, how long do we get? So I gamed it out, and you can get cap stability with 444 approximately. I've tried to game it out, and it's around 440. And that is almost exactly assuming reload rate of your capacitor, which is 10 seconds for the heavies, is approximately 31.4 times the recharge, the activation duration. Approximately, because of course it's also calculating in continuous, like sustained, with reload just like ammo. So that's that. It's a simple rate, and it seems to work. The bigger the cap charges, the more you're going to have to take into account the reload rate, of course. If you have one, you're going to have the activation duration plus 10 seconds of reload, and then you can activate it again. So the duration of, say, one 320, it doesn't matter. You can't fit two 320s in these, is 22.7, or 22.8 as the way it rounds up. So there you go. Yeah. So basically, that's that. In effect, how many 320s you need would be times the gigajoules per seconds times your, I think I'm screwing up the math. All right, better stop now before I totally screw everybody up. I suck at math. I can't extrapolate on math. It just doesn't work. All right, so just try to get it as practical as possible. So going by duration times that is how to reverse engineer keeping it perfectly cap stable. So let's get rid of, let's actually go to just simulate it again. Load my stuff up again. There we go. All right. So everything's running. Let's get the ammo in there. Okay, say we've got everything running. We needed to get everything running. Let's turn this off, just assuming we just have the neuts. Okay. You can't always depend on this working. This may or may not work. We're going to count on the energy NOS. It's great for a bhaalgorn because it'll drain. It doesn't depend on relative. It'll just drain it, but we're going to ignore that. 20 and yeah, okay, well I guess we can, yeah, but you're draining something. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess we could go with it because you're trying to drain something. If you drain it completely, it'll work. So, all right, so we'll leave that on. All right, so we got everything firing, going like crazy. We got 2 minutes 20. We got 46.2. So theoretically, here let's try it in practice. So 12.75 times 46.2 equals, so we need a 590, we need 600 cap charge. So 800 will put us above. And how much above? 590 equals, so we're 35% above what we need. What's that going to translate to? Let's check it out. I'm going to assume that this means I can go 33% or 25%. Let's assume that the middle of, let's assume their math is right. So all right, so if the math, I'm just, this is completely wonky because I'm not taking into account, I'm not taking account reload rate, so I got to be careful. So I can't go, this is exact. So at 35% more, than 25% peak capacitor that I believe this is going by, if the math is right, if their math is right. That means that if I do this, it'll cap out around, it'll show 35%, 34%, or give or take like 5%. Now, hopefully I'm close enough that it's not that wide a margin of error, so I can get more confident in this. But here we go. So I need 800. I'll put in just standard 800. Did I get rid of it? Whoops, I did. All right. And what is this number? Okay, way off. Okay. 58. Okay. So times 1.35 is 45. So that does not answer it. I'm probably doing my math completely wrong, aren't I? Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I am, aren't I? I'm just totally screwing up my formula, aren't I? Okay, so 800 wait, 800 divided by 12.75 would give us 62 minus, what number was that anyways? 46.2. 46.2 equals 16. Which isn't that. That's not 16. The math right here, it might be taking into account the diminishing returns, you know, of not only the base capacitor recharge rate at 25% or 20 to 33%, but also the lessening of that recharge rate after that. And of course, the fact that I've only got 4 of them, and I've got an extra time, that could be it. Let's add that in. So let's try to do it more exact here. So we know that I'm adding I'm adding 800 times 1275. Wait, no. 4 times 1275. So 4 rounds of 800 times the activation duration plus, whoa, that's a lot. Let's 4 times 12.75 equals plus 10. Okay. So 61 seconds. How do we game this out? How do I... Because I know I can do the recharge rate and get the cap to keep the cap stable. But I don't know how to calculate in once I get past that. Yeah, this is the thing here. hopefully rewatch my own video a while from now when I come in with a fresh, a clean slate perspective of forgetting what I was talking about. I might be able to spot where I'm screwing up here, or might even see something I'm missing. But so far, I'm happy with the math I've got so far. Let's just try the 800 here. Let's try to game this out here. So what the hell? 61 seconds total. And I'm doing 800 times 4 divided by 61 seconds, right? And I can do that every 61 seconds. That includes reload time. So 52 minus 46.2. Oh, this would be great if it was 6.3, right? Ooh, damn. Sexy. All right. Here's the thing I don't understand. Okay, we'll turn everything off, right? Oh, screw it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Come on, get out of the freaking way. God damn it. Alright, so we've got a peak recharge rate passive of 28.4, right? At peak. And that's happening, right? In real time. And that's not an insignificant amount compared to what we're cap boosting in, right? Well, I'm probably messing up that math too. I'm trying to game out the actual contribution of the peak recharge passive compared to cap boosting. I don't have the math skills to do that, honestly. I just don't. All right. So 46.2. Oh God, I forgot where I was going with this. Okay, so I've answered the question. It's the reload rate on this because it's got so few charges. So I've got 6.3. How much? Like, can I take any neuting right now? Like, what is a heavy neut going to do to me right now? All right, so, I mean, from a upwell, right? So if you've got an upwell, not low. You've got an upwell, to standard one, nothing fancy. And you don't have any cap batteries to lower your, so that's 15 every 15 seconds. So that's minus 100 gigajoules. So if you had a minus 100 gigajoules, you're not going to last very long. Yeah, you're probably going to last less than... What can we... No, it's not going to work. $75. So you're operating. Okay, so let's find some stuff here. Let's get some armor reps just to try to... repairs, large, 110. That'll do it. I can only fit one of them. It's 140. That's close enough. 46, right? So, yeah, perfect. That's perfect. So that's 100 extra. So we'd last 45 seconds with one neutralizer on me. With two, yeah, that'll take you down by a huge amount. So if you're already at 33% and you just get hit by 2 newts from a upwell, yeah, you're capped out. You'd need capacitor from Logi to help you out. Absolutely. Could you defeat an energy newt from an upwell using cap boosters? I highly doubt it. Yeah, you're running on, so this is just one. Just one. If you got 2, screw it. You're screwed. Like, there's no way. It might be, but I seriously doubt it. Like, one. That's approximately what we need. Okay, I've got to be able to... Yeah, there's zero ways of doing it, especially if you've got a micro warp drive. It's really lowering, so you'll last 33 seconds on 800. It doesn't matter that you're only going to get one. So you'll last, yeah. It's just, there's no, you're going to be hosed. It's not calculating in your, the rate you're getting, because it's insignificant amount of cap you're taking in damage. So yeah, you'd be screwed. Could you lower, you'd only be able to lower it by like, yeah, I mean, it's completely, you'd be capped out. None of your modules would be on. This would be off for sure. These would be off. Everything would be off. And you just have this. Yeah, 155. Wait a sec. 200. I need a bit more, actually. Lol. There you go. Whatever. Let's get medium. What do we got here? Yeah, close. Whatever. Okay, so you've got to defeat that, and there's no bloody way in hell. Yeah, see, there's no way. If you're down to, let's see, whoops. If you went down to, okay, perfect. We're at, this is a heavy newt. You're getting a heavy neuted. Your 32 will protect you, but you got nothing, right? You've got 41. So that's probably what you need to keep. Yeah, you got a minute. So, yeah. As you can see, it's a mite difficult. So a 32 to keep you in the game with the mic warp rev, you're gonna have to manage that sucker big time, because that's, yeah. See, it hits you pretty hard, especially if you've got the mic warp drive. So, all right. So what can we do? I mean, this is not a theory crafting video of how to make your bhaalgorn survive on a upwell. I keep trying to say pause. I would, if I was, I'd probably, how much are the, I'm sure they're really expensive. Anyways, but whatever. This is not a theory crafting for that. Anyways, so yeah, you're going to have to feather that one for sure to keep cap stable. It is possible, but how many cap boosters can you have? You'd need to call for cap support from your logi. Absolutely 100%. It would just not work. Now, speaking of, what about logi? You know, your logi, you're watching this bhaalgorn get neuted, and you know it's going to get neuted out eventually. You can only have so many, right? You've got a maximum of, yeah, you've got like 6 rounds, and then you're hosed. You've got, so that's 30 seconds each, so that's, you've got 3 minutes before you're completely out of your cargo. Now, could you keep the cap stable with 800s while under pressure? Let's check it out. I'm assuming you can, because the more charges you can have, the less you have to worry about your recharge rate. So it's actually better to have lesser charges because you actually getting more consistently over time than you would with something you have to account for the reload rate. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir at this point. So, all right. We will put, we're still going with the standard. I'll just put in the regular 800 here. So it looks like that's not gonna work, but this will. Now I'm not sure why. It's probably because it's stretching it out too long, the boosting, and you need it. Unfortunately, you'll get more bang in your buck, apparently. I'm learning something new every day. So 320 is great if you're coming under extreme cap pressure. If you're not, 800 is fine. So yeah, having 320s going up against an upwell is probably the smartest thing to do, because it will actually keep you cap stable, assuming you get attacked by only one neut. If you get both neuts, you're pretty screwed. If you're under that much pressure, you need as much help you can get from the logi. But if you only get one, and we're just theorying it out, you could go with 320, because the 800 wouldn't work. But let's go on to the supposition that the upwell gunner knows what the hell he's doing, and focus fires with his neuts. Because you'd think that you could, because you have, when you're an upwell gunner, a noob upwell gunner, and I still kind of am, kind of don't want more practice. it's hella valuable, but Jesus, yeah, it's not the funnest thing in the world. So you've got a set amount of targets, and you want to hit as many targets as you can, right? You've got, if you're smart, you've got 3 ECM, and you've got 2 neuts on an Acer house. Don't use it on an Athenor. And you've got, I think, 8 targets, or 9 targets base, I think. I think it's 8. Anyway, so you're shooting at 1, you're ECMing logi, and you're neuting 2 other things, because you want to spread it out as much as possible. How much is that affecting things? And yeah, you can actually affect things if they don't have like 320 boosters on, because it hurts a lot. Yeah, you can do a lot of damage. The best thing to do if they're, say, using Leshaks or Drekavacs is put your neuts on them, cap it out completely. But the problem is with the trig guns is that they don't actually use a lot of cap to fire each, because it's cycling so quickly that it might use a lot of cap in the long run, but in the short term it's using very little amounts. So it's very, very hard to turn off a Leshak or Drekavac's gun when it's firing so quickly, because it's always you've always got, it's not like you cap out the battery and it stops recharging passively. No, it's always passively charging at, as you saw, around 28 gigajoules per second, and that's not insignificant when it comes to firing, guns like that, because it can charge like, it's not charging, okay, 1 second, it's going to give you a bit more. No, it's kind of like a smooth process, I think. It could be a server-tick, but whatever. You know where I'm going with that. Okay, so that is that. Yeah, if I was an upwell gunner, I'd definitely be turning both my neuts on a single target to try to turn its guns off, like a bhaalgorn. Kind of difficult for a Leshak and Drekavac to do that, but worthwhile. Now then, what kind of logi are we talking about when we go into, so I've got, there's no, let's say I'm going with my amulet for, like, not the talisman, but the amulet. The bonuses for cap recharge, I believe, are, a second here, might want to save that fit if I want to bring it back up quickly again. So Guardian. Don't think I have. Yeah, I've got a very particular fit here, but we're just going to go with it right now and tweak it so I can get back to doctrine. So the doctrine fit usually has you using large and medium. And the large remote capacitor, probably enduring, but we'll just go with it. Attributes, now this is a talisman. It's gonna turn my skills, and the talisman are gonna really screw with this. But the energy transfer amount is always the same. So 351 every, and assuming I don't have the skills, 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, who cares? We'll just go this way. Make it simple. Okay, so every 5 seconds you get 351. And you're giving cap to this person every 5 seconds. So that's 351 divided by 5 equals, so every second you're getting 70. So that won't counter a heavy neut. It definitely won't counter 2 heavy neuts on somebody. But assuming they have their own, they're cap stable at some point, all you need to do is get 200. So you need 3. So if somebody's being neuted out by double neuts from an upwell, you need 3 large remote capacitors from one drop 1 cap to put it on something for you've got 3 logi putting 1 remote, dropping 1 remote on the target, and that'll keep you safe. So that's that answer. Yeah, it's pretty huge. If you got cap batteries, it really lowers that by a substantial amount. Um, yeah, Milesh actually go. I roll with against fobs, this fit, and yeah, my Lashaks can put out a substantial amount because of the talismans. I'll just exit simulation. Uh, yeah, I can pump out oh, wrong one, sorry. I can pump out every 3.65 seconds that amount, and that's I've got two of them because I've got three Lashaks. I've got one on each. I've got one repair and one cap transfer on each of my wingmen. And so that means I've gotten two modules on me. So I've got 200 per second, and that's perfectly capable of dealing with being double neuted, which the fob always does. It's a large amount. If you add in, say I add in any more, so I've got 104. It's costing me 104 to do all this. I'm getting in 200. I've got plus 104. I've got cap batteries lowering this. It tends to work out that I'm pretty much ignoring completely a fob's attempts to nuke me. I'm just at 95% all the time, regardless. The Ashimus get in on the act. They are quite deadly. The fob Ashimus, Jesus. It can, if there's three of them, you start to get really worried. I think I've been capped out once if I was not careful. But yeah, these apparently, according to a little birdie, these don't suffer capping. I think they do, but these don't suffer stacking penalties. I believe they do. If yeah, I could probably test it on Singularity, and I should, just to clear that up. But cap batteries, yeah, regardless if they do or not, they're really useful, and it lowers the ability to by like almost 50%. Assuming we have stacking penalties, pretty much 50% lowers that cap warfare, and as you can see, it's not affecting me at all. Add in some Ashimus, it kind of tips it over the edge. So I'm definitely interested in checking out the stacking penalties, but there's just one more thing to do on Singularity, and I have a laundry list, and it's never going to be over. There's there's endless possibilities. I haven't even gone into wormholes. I'd like to explore gas mining for noobs because I think it's the best thing ever for noobs, like alpha accounts. Sneak into a wormhole and mine some gas. It's just golden. How long can you survive? How long before the rats show up? Is it worth it? Can you do any good in a wormhole using adventure? Will you eventually spawn too many rats in too many gas sites that you can't go back into them and have to find another wormhole? How much gas can you get out of it? It's just stuff like that. I mean, that's just one of like countless. I don't go to nullsec. When's the last time I did exploration? All this stuff. When's the last time I did a relic site? Seriously, when's the last time I did hacking? I know about the power of 6 rule. Yeah, Crass Kitty. So one of her videos is I think it's in my recommended videos, video list, playlist. Yeah, but yeah, there's just so billions of stuff to research. I'll never be done. All right, always feel like a noob. Yeah. Anyways, so we've answered that 3 logi to deal with double neuts on somebody. A bhaalgorn firing the doctrine stuff. Could you cap out a guardian using double neuts? Because you need 3 incoming to the... No, you won't, because they're not firing the guns. They're just solely, you know, if they start getting, they just turn off their reppers and deal with that. I'm curious, though. Very curious. Let me get up. No. I don't like alliance. Nope. Bhaalgorn. Okay. Simulate fit. All right. This is the typical. Now it's going to be really skewed because of the talisman. I'd probably go with amulet for doctrine, but what we've got here is minus 53. Now we know that we're going to get an incoming of, yeah, I've got in, this is okay. All right, so we've got 310 per, yeah, it's going to be 5 seconds. That's why I really love talisman. I would recommend it. It's not that expensive. But 311 divided by 3.65. Okay, so 85. So we're pumping out 85 gigajoules per second. And that's pretty good. I mean, the two of them, one of them will easily take care of our cap needs. So one up, one down. One down will just do it, and then you can use the up to. I think it's you drop the down one. I forget the doctrinal. It's been a while since I did major fleet exercises. And somebody competent telling us what to do. But yeah, anyways, I actually forget. I need to look that up. Like, you're in the heat of combat, it's like, what do you drop? I think it's the... It's been a while since I was in actual experienced fleet with logi. I think you keep the down, like, you're targeting the next person in the alphabetical line. That's what I'm pretty sure you're doing. Like, if minor freak, that would be I'm cap transferring to my alts, that would be Seneschal. And then if I was cap transferring to, say, major freak, I would drop his and put it on anybody who needs it, basically, because I would easily survive needing all this stuff. So 85 times 3 is easily, he could not even use, he'd just be fine. He wouldn't even have to use anything. I would take care of the bhaalgorn's needs and double, as long as 3 people had their stuff on them. Could you cap me out with 200? No, because if I said I need cap, I've got up or downward. All I need would be just be somebody to drop their up cap and just drop it on me. So I just need 1 extra. I know, right? So yeah, I just need 1 extra if I was being double neuted, and I'd be fine. Now, would that work in a, like, I'm thinking now, of course, defending against a fleet. Could you affect a guardian doing this? Well, if you neuted, if you ECM3 is buddies and then double neuted him, he would need 3 cap transfers to keep him alive. But if his buddies were neuted out, I mean ecm'd, it would be completely useless giving them cap. So you could turn off your cap, and now you'd be minus 20. Okay, you'd still need quite a lot. When are you? I think these are medium. Yeah, medium, and yeah, okay. So, okay, so yeah, basically you'd only really be only able to use 1 and keep the cap stable. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be slightly difficult. Let's put it that way. Is it worthwhile double neuting an extra one? Oh, absolutely. If you can shut down their logi, you can put damage on something that isn't logi. Hopefully a battleship size, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall at an upwell. If you're going up against an upwell, your best bet is to go into Drekavax or the meta, the perfect meta for dealing with upwells, because cruise missiles just do the best damage. And because you're talking about logi here, when you're going up against upwell, you need logi, and the best way to defeat logi is to put as much damage on the field as possible at a target, so logi are overwhelmed trying to rep that person. If you go down a hull to battle cruiser level or cruiser, you're doing less damage. Because you need to use the heavy missiles instead of the cruise, and therefore you just halving your damage right there. That's doubling your logi, effectively. It's like so going in with battleships isn't the wisest idea against an upwell. Drekavax are now, just a word of warning here. What I face when I go up against, when people bring that kind of fleet to me, it's obvious that they're using the trig advantage of remote repping to remote rep each other. You got a situation where a Lashak has 1 gun and it's got all this stuff, so it can have cap transfers, remote repping. It could have, I've seen 4 remote reps because they can do it. It's just they can do the stuff. How much capacitor is this using actually? It's using I suck at math. Yeah, it's using 9 per second, and yeah, just think about that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's so little per second. It's crazy. Yeah, you got to remember, there's only 1 of them. It's not like you're firing 8 at once, right? So it's pretty funny. It is kind of wonky, actually. The cap stability of trigs is quite impressive. All right, I think that's almost it. Let's go back to what I originally wanted to talk about. Was the usefulness of either Cap Booster 800 or Cap Booster 320. Let's start going with the cap, the Navy cap, because that's what you're gonna have to fit in cargo. So get rid of this. So assuming you're not being neuted. Assuming you're not being neuted. Oh, screw it. I don't need that right now. I need you. Yep. Thank you. All right. So, we're cap stable happily. Let's put on the, there we go. So, turn that off. Turn this, turn that. All right, so we're easily cap stable with 800s. You do not need 320s. The reason I put one cap booster in the pipe is because it's not in cargo, and it's cheap, and it's big, and you can fire it off, and it's done. You're firing away. You're having fun. You're just using your guns on a pause. You're not really thinking about it hard, and 3 minutes later, you're kind of almost capped out. So you just hit it once. You hit it once, bam. Yeah, take yourself way up to like there or something on the cap, and you're okay, great. And then you start reloading, and then you can use it in earnest. Now, an upwell will die in 15 minutes. And if there's anything interesting that's going to happen, it's going to be in the first 3 minutes of you attacking it. So therefore, you need as much right away to cap yourself as high as possible going into combat. You don't know what you're going to face. So I usually find that having one on the pipe is a good use of that space, because it can get you up really high in the first initial moments of, oh shit, things are going down, we need to do something about it. And you'll cap yourself up and start reloading with 800s. And it helps you get up instantly to a decent level where you can keep doing what you need to do. And then, if you're, obviously you start using your 800s once you start getting into that. But then you're starting to cap manage and all that stuff, and you're in the heat of combat, and a lot of things are happening. So that's why I like to have the 320 in there, because A, it's dirt cheap, and you shove it in there, and it's an easy thing. And the last thing you want to do is have 800s in there that are expensive just for, how you've got 15 minutes. The first 3 minutes are just, getting set up, you're doing other things, you're just getting into it. You don't really need to start using your 800s right away. So I usually think this is a great way to get yourself back above cap stability, the 33%, and just lump sum. And then once you're in combat for real, and it starts really getting into it, then it's worthwhile using those 800s. But at first, just use the 320. It's cheap, it's easy, it's an instant boost. And I think it's the best bang for your buck, really. That's my thought on it. And I wouldn't have any in cargo, because the last thing you need is this thing to start reloading 320s, or that one 320 you've got for later on, because it's going to want to eat that. So just have one in the pipe, nothing in cargo, just the 800s, the Navy 800s. And the Navy 800s, they'll save you a lot of space. It's massive. Now, the reason I'm saying go with 800s is because A, it works for your ship. It really does. There's no need. Yeah, there's seriously no need to have 100 gigajoules per second. It's just, it doesn't matter for your ship, especially for a battleship. 22 plus, that's great. Yeah, you can literally power everything and keep cap stable with 800s. Navy 800s. It's perfectly fine. You don't need 320s. 320s are like when we talked about in the beginning of the video. It's useful if you're getting severe neut pressure. 320s are great, but as you noticed, it's great in fusion, and it would be excellent if you were in a heavy neut pressure, but it's only going to counteract one neut. And if you're up against an upwell, if they're smart, they're going to double neut you. So 320 is not going to cut it. One neut maybe, two neuts, forget it. So why put in something that is okay? Let's get serious here. The price at JITA is exactly a quarter of the cap boosters, and the prices are pretty stable. I'll check. This is JITA. It's pretty damn stable, amazingly so. This is 800. Yeah, it's pretty stable. They're the exact like 200 and then 800. There's no benefit to going with 320 or 800. They're the same price. Pretty much like Plex. It's pretty funny. So what we've got is, okay, good. Don't like showing my account names. All right, so yeah, there you go. The value of using the Navy boosters is because their volume is so much less than the standard, and you can pack more in your cargo, and that's why you put in the 320 standard into the pipe, because you're not having it in cargo. It's free cargo space, and you can't fit two cap booster 320s that are Navy in it anyways, regardless of whether you use the Tech 2 or not. That's basically it. The only advantage to a cap booster 2 is you can put in one more 800 than you would a standard. So this is great. One more is great, but if you think about it, it's as you can see, it's 5 or 6. You're good. So that's why most people go with that, and you're cap stable for all intents and purposes. You're cap stable. No need to get fancy. And plus, you're kind of tight on the old CPU there. So, all right. So, what have we learned? That 320s in the pipe are great. That having them in the cargo is just the same as having 800s. They're the same price, same volume, same everything for the navies. But they're not going to matter in the long run, because you've got to fight in your head the competent enemy, not the incompetent enemy. And a competent enemy would put 2 neuts on you, that would shut you down regardless of whether you had 320s or not. So 320s are great for cap intensity if you know exactly who you're going to face. That is one heavy neut worth, which is silly because you can't predict that at all, especially for doctrine. It's just not going to work. So don't even try. So 820 keeps you cap stable, bar anything weird. And if anything weird happens, you're bhaalgorn, a plated passive. You're going to expect you're going to have logi. So logi's going to carry the weight for you. 3 logi, dropping 1 transfer will cancel out double neut. Or pretty much anything, except if you use cap batteries and then it throws a spanner in the old upwell's face. But yeah. And to eyeball it, you just times that by the recharge rate. I mean the duration it says, and that's the size of cap you need. If you want to be exact, you do that plus the reload rate of 10 seconds. So you got to take that into account, but it's a good way to eyeball it. So just take this minus that. Okay, what's my cap duration? That. Okay, I'll put in that much, you know, which is 13 times 48. You know, eyeballing. Yeah, 600. Good. 800 to do. 400 is not going to cut it. 800, perfect. Anything more than that, silly. So yeah, that's a good way to eyeball it, you know. Could you take advantage of that? Oh, totally. If you had 2 cap boosters, you know, if you had 2 cap boosters, could you defeat double neut? No, of course not, because you would only have room in your cargo for between 6 and 8 if you pushed cap charges, and that's only going to last you a minute, 2 minutes tops. So yeah, that's not the way to do it. So yeah, I mean, in other situations it would work fine. If you're a smaller ship, you could use this to figure out, you know, should I have 2 cap boosters? What kind of cap booster size should I need? And especially it's like you don't want to start screwing around in the simulator. You want to just look at the number you know, you just want to look at this number and you go, okay, times that by 13, I need yada, you know. And that's going to help me tons, because I can just eyeball it and go, oh, okay, 13, so I need 13. Okay, I need something. Okay, that's not going to work. So a capacitor boost will not help me keep cap stable if I didn't have anything incoming, you know. So this is like, okay, I need logi remote cap transfers. I won't be able to do it with a cap booster. And that's a great eyeball for that. What other applications could we use this for? Yeah, deciding. And we've already figured out that this. See, when you read, it's really confusing too, because when you read. It's not very helpful, is it? It says, and this is the annoying thing. It says, oh, okay. Now, I'm pretty sure it says point somewhere. Where is? Pretty sure I was looking at the stand-up. Okay, it says gigajoules. All right. I wonder where. Give me a second here. All right. I think when you hover over it. No, okay. Weird. I swear that one time I was looking at it, it just said points, but it's saying gigajoules. I wonder if they changed something. They might have. And it was very confusing when you just saw points. But it says gigajoules. Hey, that's pretty cool. All right. So, yeah. that's that. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you don't get double neuted. And hopefully your logi is not ECM to hell and back. But yeah, you just need 3 logi that aren't ECM'd, and then they can drop 1 cap transfer and keep you up to snuff. That's pretty much all she wrote. Yeah, hopefully I didn't miss anything or take something for granted. Yeah, the cap boosters are pretty much the same price at Amar as well. What are the standards compared? I mean, if you're really hurting for price, I wouldn't. These, when you're in, you need the extra space, because yeah, it's not like 30 times, yeah, like times 30. Your cargo is only going to be 6 million. You know, what's going to cost when you have this? A lot cheaper, but you're going to have less in the actual cap booster itself, and less in cargo, and that's not recommended, especially when you're flying ships that are worth a lot. So don't even go there. Maybe for elf ships, but not for bhaalgorns. Oh, I'm sure elves can fly bhaalgorns, but yeah. Anyways, la la la. Yeah, I like the talisman are great. They can do some amazing stuff. No, I can't think of anything I'm missing. I think I covered pretty much everything. Yeah, and that rule of thumb is going to be great now, you know? Now that I've done the testing, I can do it. It seems Mickey Mouse now that, oh, why didn't I think of that in the first place? But it just didn't occur to me that I could do it that simply. It's pretty cool. It's going to be pretty loosey-goosey, but it's a good rule of thumb, I think. Oh, yay me. Did something productive about capacitor. It's been bugging me for so long. All right, done. And I'd like to test the, like I tested unto death, the 20% to 33% peak capacitor recharge. And that's without a doubt done. It's in the videos. I think I've published them. Might have been wife chatter or something in the background that prevented me, but I'm pretty sure it's in mechanics or singularity. Yeah, but yeah, doing the same thing for capacitor is on the laundry list. Wish me luck.